They don't backbite. Normally people find it a little easier to talk about other people, even though it's prohibited. لا يغتب بعضكم بعضا أيحب أحدكم أن يأكل لحم أخيه ميتا. Don't speak ill of one another behind their backs. Does one of you want to eat the dead flesh of your brother? That's what backbiting is. فَكَرَهْتُمُوهُ. It's distasteful to you. It's loathsome to you. And so Allah is warning us, according to Imam al-Ghazali, if you can control yourself with food and your sexuality, then you can control all of the other things much easier, because these are the two primary drives in the human beings. The eros drive and the drive for satiation, for food, satiety. And so in learning to discipline the soul, we get closer to Allah. The Prophet ﷺ said in a hadith that Imam Nawawi puts in his 40 hadith, which indicates its primacy as one of the central hadiths of our tradition. He said, "At-tahur shatrul iman." Purification is half of faith. Imam al-Ghazali, Imam Nawawi mentions in his commentary that Imam al-Ghazali says, "At-tahur" here means purification of the heart. That purifying your heart is half of faith. The one half is to enter into faith. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu Muhammad Rasulullah. That is one half, but the other half is tazkiyah. قَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ زَكَّاهَا وَقَدْ خَابَ مَنْ دَسَّاهَا. He has flourished, the one who purifies his soul, and he has faltered and stunted his growth, and failed the one who stunts the growth of his soul. So tazkiyah is central to our tradition, and Ramadan is about tazkiyah. It's about purification of the heart. It's about disciplining the soul. كُتِبَ عَلَيْكُمُ الصِّيَامُ كَمَا كُتِبَ عَلَى الَّذِينَ مِنْ قَبْلِكُمْ لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ. That we have prescribed for you fasting as a way of learning spiritual discipline, learning piety, getting closer to God, being more obedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is central. And then he said, وَالْحَمْدُ لِلَّهِ تَمْلَأُ الْمِيزَانِ. Saying Alhamdulillah will fill the scales. The scales, according to our tradition, are bigger than the heavens and the earth. The scales on Yawm al-Qiyamah. تَمْلَأُ الْمِيزَانِ وَسُبْحَانَ اللَّهِ وَالْحَمْدُ لِلَّهِ تَمْلَأَانِ أو تَمْلَأُ مَا بَيْنَ السَّمَاءِ وَالْأَرْضِ. And saying Subhanallah walhamdulillah, glory to God, praise be to Allah. Saying this it is filling what is between the heavens and the earth. That's how vast it is to praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then the Prophet ﷺ said, وَالصَّلَاةُ نُورٌ. And prayer is light. The Prophet ﷺ in a hadith that's mutawatir, it's a factual hadith. The Prophet ﷺ said, بَشِّرَ الْمَشَّائِينَ بِالظُّلَمِ بِالنُّورِ الْتَامِ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ. Give good tidings to those who go in the darkness at Fajr and Isha. When they go to the prayer, and before electricity, people didn't have, they went in dark. Go give them glad tidings of complete light on the Day of Judgment. Because on Yawm al-Qiyamah, there are periods as you move on the stages where it becomes completely dark. And those who did not have prayer in this world, they don't have any light. And so the prayer is light. It will guide you. Inna salata tanha an al-fahsha'i wal-munkar. Prayer will prevent you from doing foul and disobedient things. That increases your light. The more spiritual light you have, the more you can contribute to the elimination of darkness in the world. Darkness cannot succeed because darkness is a negative quality. It's not a positive quality. If you have a room filled with light, if darkness comes into the room, it can't dispel the light. It can't dispel the light. But if you have a room filled with darkness, one bit of light that comes into that room can dispel all of that darkness. Because light is positive. It is not a negative quality. It is a positive quality. And that is what we are accruing with our spiritual practice, is light, in order to dispel the darkness and the negativities that exist in this world. This is the role of those who believe in God, of those who believe that there is a day of judgment, that you are going to be taken to account. And then the Prophet ﷺ said, وَصَدَقَةُ بُرْهَانٌ. And charity is a proof. It's a proof of your belief. How you give to others, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, إِنَّ الْإِنسَانَ خُلِقَ هَلُوعًا. The human being has been created in a state of anxiety. We come into the world screaming, in a state of hala'. And then he said, إِذَا مَسُّهُ الشَّرُّ جَزُوعًا. When evil afflicts him, he loses control. He becomes completely destabilized when any harm comes to him. وَإِذَا مَسُّهُ الْخَيْرُ مَنُوعًا. And when he is given good, he withholds. He's greedy. He's covetous. He wants to keep what he has and not share it with us. إِلَّا الْمُصَلِّينَ. Except for those who pray. Those who pray because they're in a different state of mind. People that have a connection with their Lord are in a different state of mind. إِلَّا الْمُصَلِّينَ الَّذِينَ هُمْ عَلَى صَلَاتِهِمْ دَائِمُونَ. Those who are constant in their prayer. Constant. Some say it's sujood al-qalb. It's the sajda of the heart that's in constant prayer, because the heart has a sajda, has a prostration like the head. Those who are constant in their prayer. وَالَّذِينَ فِي أَمْوَالِهِمْ حَقٌّ مَعْلُومٌ. And those who in their wealth is a portioned right. لِلسَّائِلِ وَالْمَحْرُومِ. For those who ask, who have need and they ask, and those who don't ask and yet you can see they're deprived. We have people now, we have today zakat al-fitr. You pay zakat al-fitr, which is the sa'a for each person. So you give a portion of grain. Now we pay through the Hanafi madhab money because it facilitates that for places that need it more than we do. But we give that at the end of Ramadan, because Ramadan is about learning about hunger, that there are people that are hungry. There are many people that it's inexcusable that we have famine today. We have a globalized system where, and we have the means to take food to anywhere on the planet. And yet we have people now starving in East Africa. It's completely unacceptable. It's completely unacceptable. We have people vomiting from overeating in some societies. Really, we have people vomiting from overeating. We have people now, you go to the store and you can see rows and rows of dyspeptic medicines for indigestion from people that eat too much, that don't need to eat that food. That really, it's billion-dollar industry in the United States. People from overeating. We've become an obese society. People take in more calories than they need. Omar radiallahu anhu once saw a man with a big stomach making tawaf, and he put his stick up against his stomach and he said, this would be better if it was on somebody who needed it. Right? Seriously. Those extra calories that you're taking in, they'd be more useful on somebody that really needed them. We've got people dying. إِنِّي تَعْجَبْتُ مِنْ قَوْمٍ يَعُمُّهُمُ دِينُ تَعَوْنِ وَالْإِخَاءِ الَّذِي وَجَبَ فَبَعْضُهُم مَيِّتٌ تُخْمًا فَبَعْضُهُم مَيِّتٌ جُوعًا وَبَعْضُهُم مِّن تُخْمَةٍ مَيِّتٌ أَوْ مَيِّتٌ طَرَبًا. One of the Mauritanian poets said, I'm amazed at a religion that calls for the fraternity of mankind, and yet we see some dying from hunger and some from satiety are dying from eating too much. He's amazed, like, well, how can a people whose religion tells them to take care of the needy? The Prophet ﷺ said, nobody is a believer who goes to bed with a full stomach and his neighbor is hungry. It negates your faith. And now on a globalized society, your neighbor can be 1,000 miles away. Because we know about people now. In the old days, people had excuses. This is important. إِلَّا الْمُصَلِّينَ. Those who pray, who are constant in their prayer. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that وَالَّذِينَ يُصَدِّقُونَ بِيَوْمِ الدِّينِ. And those, look how it's related. Immediately after that, those who believe in the Yawm al-Din. Brothers and sisters, this religion calls us to reflect on death. The Prophet meditated on death every day of his life. Not in a morbid, negative way, but in a way in order to teach us the fragility of life. The fact that we're moving through life, that we will soon depart this place and we will be confronted with a momentous event. عَمَّا يَتَسَاءَلُونَ عَنِ النَّبَأِ الْعَظِيمِ الْقَارِعَةُ مَا الْقَارِعَةُ وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا الْقَارِعَةُ. What will convey to you what that day is?